Hi there. So today we're making sourdough breakfast bars with jam. I was gonna prepare them today and then cook them in the morning, but I think I'm just gonna cook them tonight and then they'll be ready for the morning. So I'm gonna make two different batches because I'm making one with honey and one with maple syrup because I do prefer the flavor of honey. I thought this would be a fun little thing to make because it's just easy to grab, and I have breakfast club every Wednesday, so I thought it'd be a good snack for breakfast club. So we're gonna start off with the 75 grams of sourdough, and I fed the sourdough this morning, so it's quite active and bubbly right now. So let's throw in our 75 G's. It's at 86, I'm gonna leave it. And as always, just a little reminder, keep your sourdough set aside at the beginning so you don't mess up and not have sourdough left over for your next batch that you're gonna do. So I'm gonna zero out the scale, and then we're gonna do 120 grams of coconut oil, and it's supposed to be melted, so I already had it pre-melted. I just figured y'all didn't wanna watch that. So we're just gonna scoop that right in there. And then the next step is 80 grams of whatever sweetener you wanna use. It does call for a liquid one, so it calls for honey. So I'm not sure if you were going to use something that wasn't liquid, if you'd have to make up for it somehow. So we're gonna do the 80 grams of honey. This is just honey from Winners. I don't know, Rosewood Estate, I have no idea. It's just a natural, unpasteurized honey. So we'll throw 80 grams in. Yeah, we're at 81, so we're just gonna stop there. And then in my other one, I am gonna do maple syrup, because if you have problems with fructose, you do not want the honey. And then the maple syrup is just an irresistible maple syrup. A dark. And we got 81 for the maple syrup. Close enough. So at this point, we're just gonna give her a little stir. Probably should have used bowls bigger than this. I guess we'll find out. This is just not coming together that great, but I think once we get the oats in there, it'll come together a little nicer. So I'm not gonna worry about mixing it too much right now. So the next step is 180 grams of oats. So let's throw this back on here. And I just have some rolled oats. It said you could do quick oats, rolled oats, whatever, Trevor. Oh boy, I hope I have more oats in the cupboard. 180 right on the dot. And then we'll switch her out and do 180 for this guy. Oh, she's gonna be close. 180. And next up, we have 140 grams of flour. We're just gonna use an all-purpose flour for this. So we're gonna have 140. Just kidding, too much. Oh boy. She couldn't do it now. Way too much. Get some oats in there. So that's 146. 140 grams of all-purpose flour. Oof, got 10 too many. 140. And then the last step is 5 grams of salt. And this is nothing special, it's just an artisan art, it doesn't matter. This is just a sea salt, so we're gonna put 5 grams of sea salt in there. And once this guy is in there, it should be a little easier to stir. Whoopsie daisies! We've gone and got 10 grams of salt, so we're gonna take that out and hope for the best, and hope we're actually getting salt and not just flour. We don't want too salty of a bar. Now we're done with the scale, and we are just gonna mix this up. And you're gonna wanna line a pan 8 by 8 with some parchment paper. I have one pan that's 8 by 8 and one that's 7 by 11 because I don't own two that are 8 by 8, so we're hoping for the best. And I also don't remember which one of these was maple syrup and which one was honey now. That's gonna be a problem. All right, G to G. Let's set that aside. I also thought too, maybe if I put it in the fridge overnight, that the sourdough would have some time to do something. Maybe something cool. Maybe I will cook it in the morning. Now I'm not sure. It doesn't say to let it sit overnight. I just thought it'd be fun. I just loaned myself some honey. There's a place in town and they do like whipped honey and it has cinnamon in it. It's so good on sourdough bread. It's probably my favorite. Okay, I'm gonna say that is mixed enough. And we're gonna take a little bit more than half of it. So I'm just gonna push her down and say, you're a little bit more than half. That's a lot more than half. And this is my 8 by 8 pan. And I'm just gonna throw her right on there. And then you're gonna squish it down. Nice. Actually, you can use a spatula, you can use your fingers, whatever you prefer. I'm probably gonna get in there and use my fingers so I can get it right to the corners. Trying to get a layer, an even layer. So I do have the oven preheated right now, so it's set and it's done. So you want it at 350 degrees. And she's ready for me. So we're just gonna get that nice and smoothed out. And then I have some homemade jam, strawberry. This is my favorite jam. So you can take whatever jam you want. And this is what I'm gonna use. I go to my family friends in the summer and do a heck of a lot of strawberry picking. And then I make jam after. Once you get too sick of eating strawberries for days. It's like my favorite time. It's my favorite season. For this part, it says you can do 160 to 215 grams of jam. I'm not measuring, I'm just going for it. And it says to keep it not right at the edges, so keep it a little away from the edges. I'm gonna get pretty close, because you know when you bite into something and you just don't have it like all the way to the edge, it doesn't satisfy me. It's like a sandwich. When you have a peanut butter sandwich and you have a bite without peanut butter and you're just eating bread, that might not bother some people, but I want a piece of peanut butter in every one of my bites. Just throw a little bit more jam on there. Jam. So we got it spread out kind of even. And then with the last bit of the granola, or whatever you want to call it, the sourdough stuff, we're just going to crumble it on top and push it in. So I'm just going to grab it by hand and just kind of crumble away. I probably could have put a little bit more on the bottom. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. I thought I had too much on the bottom, but looks like potentially not. All right, now we're just going to push it on in there. And you don't have to have like all the jam covered, so you kind of, well, from the pictures, it was cute when it was kind of patchy like that. I'm just gonna finish the other one off screen, and then I'm gonna pop it in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees, and then we'll check it out when it's done. I'll be back. So just in case you wanted to see what the other one turned out to look like before I popped it in the oven, this is what this looks like. So we're gonna put it in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes until the edges start browning, and then you're gonna wanna let it cool at room temperature. And then once it's cooled at room temperature, you can pop it in the fridge. I did 30, and then I went back and looked and ended up doing another 7 minutes. You can see a little browning on the edges for this one. And then this one was a bit more browning. Like it has it a bit on the topping too. I don't know if you can really tell from this. You can see it more on the edges than the topping, but I just wanted the topping to not be so pale and look a bit more cooked. So we'll let it cool now until it's room temperature, and then we're gonna throw it in the fridge, and then we'll give them a cut. Probably see it tomorrow. You know when you're trying to look at your phone for your recipe, but you can't find your phone anywhere and it's driving you crazy, and it turns out it's just in front of you the whole time while you've been looking around the kitchen for it? I know that feeling. Morning, so I'm back and I'm just showing you how the bars turned out. I already packed them away, but I left a couple of here, so I'll just show you how these guys turned out. They turned out the same, like whether they're maple syrup or honey, like the texture and everything was the same. So here they are. They taste better with more jam, because I think the one I did a little bit less jam and one I did more with more jam, and I do like the one better with more jam. So you can see how the top is kind of like not totally, it's just dropped everywhere, totally covered with the crumble. So that's what it looks like on the top. There it is on the bottom, and they stay together really well. Sometimes when you make little crumbly bars like that, they don't stay together perfectly, but these ones are awesome. And I did try a piece of one. It's real good. I'm excited to eat one later. Thanks for watching.